Hello. It is currently Friday the 26th of January at 2:02. If I sound a bit sick, I've got a little bit of a cold. I'm also in a tree house because it's the only spot where it's not loud and the sun's not blaring in my face. Yeah, but this is my first update of my time in ywam in Kona, Hawaii. I cannot believe I've already been here for like 16 days, which is crazy. But I've got a list on my phone of all of the things that I want to update on and just to see how I'm going. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start from the start. When we arrived, it was just like so evident that like the joy that people had. Like as soon as I got to the airport, everyone was so welcoming. Yeah, and it was just like it was overwhelming as well because you've got to meet so many new people. But obviously, like I could tell from the start, it was going to be such a huge blessing, and everyone that I interacted with was like so full of joy and so like yeah, welcoming into this new community. My room, I like got into my room, had some people help carry my bags up because I'm like at the top of the hill, so getting up there is a little bit challenging. Got into my room. I'm rooming with like one girl from Canada, 3 Americans, someone from Switzerland, someone from Norway, and me, and then my room staff. And my room staff's name is Sarah, and she's honestly like the most incredible. Like before I even met her, I had people like hyping her up, going like, oh my goodness, you've got Sarah, like that's the most amazing person. And I'm so honestly so blessed to be able to have her as my room staff. She's actually just like such a blessing. She's incredible, so much to learn from her. She's from America as well. But yeah, the rooming situation it's fun. Honestly, it's like one big slumber party. Like obviously you click and you get better, like get along better with certain people than you do others, but that's just life. Like that's just always going to happen. Yeah, I've probably become closest with one of the girls in my room. Yeah, we just kind of saw each other and we're like, we'd kind of met each other online before or knew of each other, and we're like, no way we're in the same room, like that's crazy. So that was definitely a blessing as well. But yeah, it's just so obvious that you can feel like the love of everyone around you all the time. Like it's just so clear that their love is an overflow from the love they feel from God and the love they receive from Him. The other thing I noticed pretty quickly was like the culture of celebration. Like they're very yeah, I just wrote down, they set a culture of celebrating people and each other. Like even when someone is feeling down or maybe they're not feeling the greatest about themselves, like there is so much encouragement that goes on, and just like even when the tiny things in life, they just like celebrate each other, which I think is the sickest thing. Like it's so fun. It also just makes you feel so loved and included and welcome to be yourself. On the second night we had what they call a Ohana night, which is like a welcome, and they had like, it was like a tradition Ohana, like tradition Hawaiian stuff. They had like 4 different groups of dancers, they had flamethrowers, they had so many different things like that would just like made you feel like you were really being welcomed onto the land. And it was like them pretty much saying, we welcome you to our land, like we respect that you're here, we like grant you access, like help us look after and love our land as well. Which I think was so powerful. Like it's such a cultural thing, and it helps us understand, like when we're down walking in Coconut Grove, which is like the town, it helps us understand the people there too. So we're not like just coming in and bombarding them, like we're here for a reason. And like everyone in town knows that ywam is a huge part of Kona. Like there's so many people that you can walk down the street and you know if people are ywam or not. And like the locals know that as well, so they'll often ask like, oh, are you ywam? And we'll be like, yes. But yeah, BB at the Ohana night, they had like kids doing their dancing, and they were just the cutest things ever. And they also had a thing where each country, someone represented their country, and they have these big flags with their country's flag on it, and one person from each country gets to represent their country and pretty much run around the whole court with like the 800 people there or whatever, just like waving the flag and be like, this is where I belong. It's pretty much showing how many countries are represented there. There's like 30 nations or something, across campus, and I was lucky enough, not planned, the person from Australia that was asked to do it didn't show up, so I was lucky enough to be the Australian representative. There's about like 7 Australians on campus, maybe 8. Yeah, and I just got to be a representation for Australia, and honestly that was like such a proud moment, going like, this is my country, I'm representing them here in Kona. Yeah, that was like surreal. It was so special. Yeah, so I've made an insane amount of new friends, and one of the coolest things is I've now got friends from all around the world. Like, I did never, like a year ago, I never would have thought I would have been living overseas and having being made friends with like people from like literally all over the world, like Norway, America, Canada, Switzerland, Germany, like New Zealand, and then there's a couple of other Aussies as well. So there's like 2 other Aussie girls my age, and then a couple of Aussies that are kind of spread out, but I don't hang out with them heaps. So yeah, when I got to the airport, the first thing that the staff said to me was, being Australian is going to be your like full personality for the first 2 weeks. And I took that, I was like, yeah, like maybe, but I don't think it actually will be. It has been, like, it's been a state, like I can barely go say a sentence without someone trying to mimic me and trying to sound the same. So Aussies are pretty well loved, I've discovered here. But like, even like, they're like, no, or like, yeah, try and say Australian, and whenever someone tries to say the Australian accent, they always sound British. And I'm like, that's not Australian, like that's British. But it's quite funny, and I didn't realise how everyone's like, oh my goodness, you're from Australia, like that's so cool. And I didn't realise that it was such a huge blessing until here. All the Americans like, oh, I don't have an accent. And I'm like, no, you do, like you have an American accent. Everyone has an accent of some degree. But yeah, people are also so intentional about spending time with you and wanting to get to know you. Like, it's not a thing where it's like, I feel obliged to, like they genuinely want to get to know you, your life story, like, and then how quickly conversations go deep. Yeah, it's actually such a special thing. Like, you feel safe telling literally anyone anything, which like, I feel like very unusual to find a community like that so quickly. Yeah, so intentional to spend time with you. They often have times and opportunities where you can go and you can like give your life to Christ again, whether that be on worship nights or in class when it's like a response time. And I think it was maybe in the first week, I was like, you know what, I've kind of been lukewarm for the past like 2 years or whatever, so I'm gonna go all in. And I know that's easy to say when you're in an environment and when you're in a community that is so on fire for God, but yeah, I really do believe that after these 6 months, even if I do come home or if I do full-time mission work, either overseas or in Australia, that it's just not a temporary thing. Like, I'm dedicating my whole life to this, basically. Whether that like be mission field internationally, or if it be just at home doing whatever job I end up doing. Yeah, so we had our last week on Wednesday, not sure what date that was, we had our nations reveal. So basically what happens is, I'll attach a video in the email below, but there's this thing that happens where we get to find out where we go, all the options and all the locations we get to go, and it's always a surprise. So pretty much at the end of class there was a video that was played on the big screen in where we have class, which is the Ohana court, and they were like, it's outreach reveal time or country reveal time, and there was this video playing on, cleanest video ever, like most insane, like the music was so loud, and it was just like, it was so cool to see, like people were so excited and so on fire to like go to these nations. We got given like the 25 nations, everyone was like jumping on chairs, like screaming, I was like nearly crying, like all these different nations that we could go to for outreach. And we got, after the video finished, they're like, you've got 20 hours to put in your top 3 preferences on where you want to go to the nations. And I was like, 20 hours, like awesome, that's not a lot of time. So it was like a Google Forms they sent out, and we had 20 hours to put in where we were going to go. And I like, for the past couple of months, I'm like, oh, Africa is always you know, been on my heart. But then also when the countries were playing on the video, the islands stood out to me as well, and they also kind of like, I don't know, I just felt my heart want to go to the islands as well. So I had like 7 countries that I had shortlisted. I'm like, I'll put 3 of these 7. So then I was like going into the prayer room and the map and praying over the different countries and which ones I felt the most peace with. And Africa was definitely still standing out. So I put up 3 African countries down. I put Tanzania as my first, South Africa, and then Uganda. No, Tanzania, South Africa, and Kenya. And I was like, I assume I'm going to go to an Africa country. And then from then on, when you submit, you pretty much just wait until you find out like where you're going. So a week goes by, we're all like still on edge of like, when are we finding out, when are they doing outreach reveal, which is even bigger than the country reveal. And they were like, 2 days ago, Wednesday again, so a full week later, they were like, hey guys, we're doing like a relationship session tonight in the room under the cafeteria, like come at 6:30. We're all like, that's a bit suspicious. Like they told us that morning, so it was like last minute thing. We get there and the 2 speakers that are meant to be there aren't in the room, and we're like, if they're doing a relationships night, where are these speakers? Anyway, they're like, oh, these speakers aren't coming, but we have 2 new speakers. They get up, they introduce themselves, say like, oh, like this is who we are, blah 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 blah, and then they're like, it's outreach reveal, and we're like, we knew it, like we just knew it was outreach reveal. So we were like running down to the court where they do it. They pretty much were like, go run there and then you'll find out. So we run there, there's a countdown on the wall, 3-minute countdown, and then everyone creates like a circle around the edge of the court, and circle around the edge of the court. And then pretty much what happens is if you say your name on the screen, you run into the middle of the court and then it says like, this is where you're going. So you just wait for your name to be called pretty much, or your name to be up on the screen. I was like one of the last countries. Everyone's going crazy. It's like, this person, this person, this one person, you're going to Kenya, you're going to Fiji, you're going to New Zealand. Anyway, I was like, where is my name, whatever. Came right at the end. Zoe Duke on the screen, run into the middle, start going crazy, jumping up and down. And then it says, you're going to Tanzania and Uganda. And I was like, there's actually no way. Anyway, start bawling my eyes out because I'm just over the moon, because Tanzania was my #1 spot. But Uganda wasn't even on the list. And so they prayed about it and they're like, yeah, we want people to go to Uganda as well. So we're a Tanzania and Uganda team. So there's 8 of us in that team and 2 staff. So there's 10 in total. We have a male staff and a female staff. They're so fun. But yeah, I have a great team. Like we have so many talents and stuff represented in our team. So we're going to be able to do so much with the mission work over there. We don't really know many of the details yet, in terms of what will be going first or what we'll be doing, but it's classified as reaching the unreached and youth ministry. So it'll be, those 2 things will be our main focus. But yeah, we had our team meetings and it was just like so cool to work out like, this is where like the next 5 months we're going to be spending a lot of time with these teams, and the next 3 months we'll be living with them for the whole time we're in Africa. So I'm like so excited. I just think that is so cool in terms of like God putting Africa on my heart and then actually getting sent to Africa as well. But yeah, it was a hard thing to decide where I was going, but I feel so much peace with it all. We have this thing called tracks where twice a week for about an hour and a half we get to choose a track that we're in, and this is like where we learn how to use our gifts and our passions for missions. So I'm in Respect the Corners, which is like a fitness workout track, also games and sports. And their main thing is, especially in the kids movement, like so learning how you can use movement and fitness as a mission, as like a mission tool. And because it was to do with kids as well, that like, because I love kids a lot, like that's something I was like, I really need to do this. So we have this workout thing. They're like, hey, we're going to do a workout on Saturday morning called the Uphill Battle, where it's pretty much like a 3 hours of CrossFit running like 7 miles or walking, and then like a whole bunch of workouts with like your body weight and like sandbags and dragging sleds. So that was like brutal. That like made me so when I was doing it, that they were like, tell yourself like Jesus' pain dying on the cross for you was like 10 times worse. And I'm like, that's so true. Like I should not be complaining right now, even though it was so hard. Like I was struggling. I was like, bro, what is this? But I did it. We got through. And then while doing that, I made a really good best friend because it's a partner workout. And neither of us had a partner, so we went together, and now we're good friends. And so that was really cool. It was so hard though. But yeah, I think that's mostly all I wanted to say. But yeah, God has just been working a lot in my life. Probably the two main takeaways from our guest speakers. So we have a different guest speaker coming in each week. And we had a guy come in last week, and this week we had Derek and Chloe Mack, and they're quite big in the young, like the youth Christian ministry stuff, and they were just really like relatable, and the things they said, like it was a challenging week in terms of them just like spinning truth bullets, being like, whoa, like we need to humble ourselves and we need to realize that we are broken, we sin a lot, but like that's literally why we have Jesus, so that he can save us. But probably the two main things I took away from the teaching at the moment is that if like people don't talk about their relationship with God, something's wrong with their relationship with Christ. And like I think that's so true. Like a lot of the time as Christians we hide away from the fact that we need to share the gospel. But like if we're not sharing the gospel daily with either people that know God or mainly people that don't, like are we really living like Jesus lived? And that's been like whoa, hang on, have I actually been doing this? Like what does this mean for my life? And maybe like changing my lifestyle around, or just being more open and confident in just going up to people in the streets and asking them how they're going, or asking them if they know Jesus or not. And the other thing probably is, what was it? Damn it, Uzi. I mean, that's another culture difference. You can't say damn it. That's like a bad word here. There's a lot of culture differences. It's quite funny, but that's one, and I always have to catch myself because people look at me and they're like, and I'm like, guys, it's fine. In Australia, you're allowed to say that. Anyways, sidetrack there. Another one that I've been learning is, oh my gosh, I can't remember, but the speakers have been really good, and I've been learning a lot, and even finding time to spend time like with God as one-on-one, like in quiet time, has been challenging. But I've definitely been, like trying to do that earlier in the morning, like before breakfast and everything. But yeah, I think they are the main updates that I have to give. If you do have like any questions or you want to find out more, like feel free to send me a text or give me a call at some point. I'll try my best to answer if I can, or if I'm free. But yeah, I just want to say thank you again for praying and supporting for me. If you could continue to pray for like finances as I try and fund outreach to go overseas, and continue to just like soften my heart to continue to just learn and grow more in the Word, so that I can know Him and make Him known across the nations. But I'm just like so grateful for the love and support that you guys have given me. Like I seriously would not have been here without you. Sorry if this was a bit of a rambly video. I'm very excited, have a lot to say. Did not plan that very well at all, but it's done. It's there. I've put some photos down in the email, so hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what I've been doing. But there's also my address in the email, so if you ever wanted to send me anything, or if you wanted to donate to my fees, there's also the link for that there too. But yeah, thank you so much again for watching. I really, you will never know how much it means to me. And I've nearly been recording for 20 minutes, so it's time to go. But I love you all. Bye, friends.